Sean, what you got to say?
Greetings, viewers. Greetings, Edgewenka. Let's have a battle tonight.
Oh,
if
fight.
you,
Picking a fight.
Yeah, sure. Because there will be a battle in the first district come the next general elections here in the Virgin Islands. That battle will be fought between three contenders. Now, in a January 12th, 2015 interview with the Supervisor of Elections, Juliet Penn, Mrs. Juliet Penn, we were advised that by the end of 2014, some 165 first-time young voters were registered to vote in the upcoming elections. These figures are enough to suggest that young people would more than likely influence the outcome of the next elections. And when you look at the variables, you realize that there are much more young people today versus what happened in 2011. And of course, this is on a continuum. Every elections, you're likely to see this. So as of 2014, however, we had 12,351 persons registered to vote. That's at the end of 2014. At the end of the 2011 elections, there were some 12,609 registered voters. Now, bear in mind that by the time we get to the elections, the 12,351 at the end of 2014 is likely to increase. The Supervisor of Elections also told us in January of this year that 100 names were removed from the list, of course, attributed to people who are no longer with us, names of people who are deceased. So why these figures, you may ask? Well, many political pundits are of the view that the general elections due 2015-2016 may be called before Festival 2015, July, August. While others believe that the Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith, would call the elections, would ring the elections bell after Festival 2015. Now, whatever the date is, there are evident signs that the elections, the political climate is increasing. The atmosphere is really showing signs of an elections or general elections nearing, or at least maybe in the next couple of months or so. So, whether or not it will be a sprint or a marathon, and that's what I'm trying to get at here, that it could be a sprint or it could be a marathon, but whether it's a sprint or a marathon, we are observing that in some districts, particularly the 9th district and certainly the 1st district, we are seeing signs of political activity, both on the government side and on the side of the prospectives, whether it be the opposition or other people in some of the emerging parties, well, particularly the People's Empowerment Party. Now, let's focus on the 1st district and this battle. The incumbent, Honorable Andrew Foy, he's the elected representative since 1999. And he has had some resistance from Preston Stout in 2011. A pretty impressive performance by Stout. He got 317 votes in 2011, accounting for 34.2% of the votes. But he was defeated by the very powerful Foy, 611, or 65.8% of the votes. What's changing? What's new? We have another young contender, a female, Shayna Smith. She has signaled her intentions to run on the new National Democratic Party ticket, the NDP ticket, and she qualified her decision saying that she sees in the NDP all the reasons why she wants to be with that party. She says that the NDP is more progressive and she sees signs of development and growth and so forth, and she is willing to work with that party to advance her own ideals of what the Virgin Islands should look like. But before I hear from you, Cromwell, and I know you're raring to go, in elections 2011, as we said, Foy defeated Preston Stout, and now he has two people to contend with. We had a conversation with him just recently and asked him what he thought about these two young contenders who are now in the ring and ready to throw uppercuts and punches and jabs at him to get that 1st district seat. Let's hear what he had to say.
The efforts that I've done in the district will bear me up to know that anyone can tell you during this time that the moon is made out of cheese, and they had a bite to prove it in terms of a cliche. But how do you know that this person is going to do what they have to do? You have to judge them by what they were doing before they come to you. You have to judge them by what they were doing all the time. You have to find out for what have they been contributed to the community, to the well-being of people. I know that my track record with that is one in which that I can stand proud of, from the youngest child to the oldest citizen in the 1st District and in this territory.
So Foy is saying you got to look at the track record.
You got to look at the past, huh?
Yes. You have to judge him by his past.
You have to judge him by his past.
Yes.
So that's quite interesting. Well, certainly I think in this election, especially in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd districts, is going to be, the voters may have to decide on whether the records of the incumbents are such that they want to give them another 4 years. They've certainly been there for, I think, more than 3 terms in some cases. So the electorate has to decide whether they're going to give them another chance based on their record. With the newcomers, the electorate is going to have to decide whether the vision and the positions on the issues and what they can do to better the lives of the constituents in those districts, is that worth a chance? So it's going to be a battle between philosophy of the newcomers and what they can do to improve the lot of the constituents in those 3 districts against the record of the incumbents. That's how I think the battle is going to shape up. Now, in the 1st district, there's an interesting scenario, Sean, where you have 2 candidates that may take votes from each other. If Representative Foy, if Assemblyman Foy base is strong, he may be able to hold out having 2 candidates drawing from each other's limited pool. So that might bode well for him. Or if one of the candidates are able to stand out and present to the constituents a viable alternative to Mr. Foy in his record, then they may in fact stand a chance, and the possibility of an upset is there.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because when I look at the polling divisions in the 1st district from the last elections, the 2011 elections, I noticed that in Carrot Bay, at the Carrot Bay polling station, Preston Stout did fairly okay. He got 81 votes. Why fairly okay? Because you're coming up against a very powerful politician, in my opinion. But in the polling division at Zion Hill, he did exceptionally well. He got 236 votes. That's Preston Stout. However, the victorious one, Foy, got 381 votes. And in the Carrot Bay polling station, he got 230 votes. So the Zion Hill polling station is Foy's battleground. That's his stronghold, in my opinion, based on the figures. And in Carrot Bay, he's also exceptionally strong. So it's going to be difficult, in my opinion, for any new entrant to unseat him unless they can do so by getting a number of votes in Zion Hill in particular.
Well, for a newcomer to have gotten 34% of the vote, to just from start, and particularly,
and that was his first time.
Yeah, particularly a first timer. Someone who, although was well known in the district, didn't seem to have a lot of impact in that district at the time, but was able to get that many votes, could say something for what's to come, because it could be a sign of dissatisfaction in the district with Mr. Foy's representation.
Or could it be that people are looking for younger and more vibrant representatives?
Well, Sean, with anything, if you're in a job for a long time, you get comfortable. Sometimes you get complacent, and the energy, and you get older, of course, and fatigue, and the energy that you once had to do the things that's necessary to make the job work and to make the job advance you no longer have that energy.
But how can you
And
say
so-
that the Honorable Neil has been in the 9th District for 40 years?
Well, I mean, I have the highest respect for Mr. O'Neill by virtue of the fact, of course, that he's
Founding
given
father of the Virgin Gorda community.
he's given his entire life to the
Yes.
service of the people of the BVI. And I mean, even when he wasn't in politics, he was a teacher, and I hold
Civil servant.
I hold teachers in the highest regard, and so. I have a lot of respect for him, and he has done a lot of things for his district. But in after a certain time, it was obvious that the energy, was waning. And
So you don't think Foy is setting up himself for a 40-year rule in the 1st District?
Well, I don't know if the 1st District is going to allow a 40-year rule. People are becoming more engaged politically. And as you've mentioned earlier, young people are becoming particularly more involved in politics and more involved in the welfare and the well-being of the country. Young people seem to be more about self and more about country than in the past. And I think that we are going to see some young people who are going to be saying, listen, we need some innovation, we need some new initiatives, we need to take a look at what the district needs are and try to put people in those positions who are qualified, one, and who have the energy, two, in order to get the things that the district needs to get done. So
But Shayna Smith has been quite vocal over the years, and I'm sure that you will recognize as well that she's also very, trained and certainly qualified. But
well, you have
do you see
both-
her really bringing the new life, so to speak, in terms of the NDP running in the 1st District to unseat the VIP candidate?
Both Preston and Shayna are highly qualified, highly trained, very intelligent young people. They're not the run of the mill. I know Shayna particularly has done. She's been out in the front in the community and speaking on issues. And so they both have almost have a record out of office of their own.
And Preston has some rich political roots as well.
And Preston has some rich political roots. So
being the son of the
absolutely,
first chief
absolutely,
minister,
absolutely. And the question would be whether he's able to parlay those roots into a victory. So it's going to be quite an interesting fight in the 1st District. And I think either one of those young persons, Preston or Shayna, has an opportunity and the possibility of seating the incumbent if they talk to the people the way they should talk to them, if they look in the district and see what the district needs are, what the needs that haven't been met, what promises have not been kept, and what they can do to bring about the changes that needs to be brought about in the district. I think they have a chance.
You think that's where the solution is in terms of their strategy, at least from a candidate perspective, not necessarily from a party perspective?
Yes, to talk to the people, look and see what the district needs are, what should have been done, what promises weren't fulfilled, what needs to be done, and how the district should be developed, or some vision and methodologies for how the district is to advance, and bring those issues forward and match them up against the incumbent's record, and let the people decide, what direction they want to take.
Well, Foy says that his track record should really bring him home, because he is confident that he's done pretty well.
Well, and of course, and so he'll there goes my statement.
Yeah.
He of course will focus on his track record, which is a record of 4 terms,
Yes.
I think, and he'll talk about his record and all the things that he's done for the district, and certainly he's built a good base in the district. And he would have had to in order to stay there that long.
For that long, that's right.
So he's going to talk about all the things that he's done for the district, the things that he's going to continue to do for the district, and the newcomer's going to have to say, listen, that wasn't enough, and here is what really needs to be done, and these are the things that we should be doing, and this is the direction we should have gone in that he was unable to take us in, and so we need to get a chance. So it could be quite a battle. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm
agree.
looking forward to the campaign. I always have fun.
Well, I have a bit more for you
In the
because
campaign.
just to move away from the first district where Foy won by some 294 votes in 2011, and we're saying exciting battle ahead. Pardon me. In the third district, whereas Foy says, "Judge me by my past," we've heard the incumbent in the third district, the current chairman of the Virgin Islands Party, saying, "Don't judge me by my past," and he won by 56 votes in the last elections against the NDP's Kevin Smith, who got 557 or 47.6%, whereas Fraser edged home 52.4% of the votes.
But that's of course again another going to be another interesting race.
And Smith is up to the task again.
Yeah, and well, whether you like it or not, that's all you have to judge a person by is the past. I mean, when you're applying,
You have to forgive and forget sometimes.
well,
don't
of
you?
course, but when you're applying for a job, that's what your resume is all about.
That's true. Yes,
So how can I tell if you're going to do a good job if I don't have something to go by? What am I going to use to say you can do the job?
Do you think he's afraid of his past then, Honorable Fraser?
I don't know what reason he would say. I don't know what reason he would give for not wanting to be judged by his past. When someone says, "Don't judge me by my past," then that is certainly an indication that you have a past that perhaps you're not that proud of, and so there's a certain amount of fear in persons looking into your past and looking at that record and making a decision about your future.
Because he suffered some heavy blows as a result of the Bywater contract, the Sickles Bay Development Project, and a number of other decisions that he took as Minister of Communications and Minister of Natural Resources and Labor.
Well, the Bywater contract you shouldn't mention around me, because then my horns come up and I turn into a little monster.
Yes, we've heard the current minister responsible for communications and works, Mark Van der Poel, saying that is an albatross around the neck of the people of the territory.
Well, listen, if you make a contract to take 2.3 million gallons of water a day and don't build infrastructure to accommodate that water and have to keep paying for that water regardless of whether you use it or not,
yes.
I would call it a millstone,
Yes.
and around the neck of the people. And certainly, he's, in my view, he's had at least 2 years after the contract was signed to have put infrastructure in place.
Redeem himself.
Well, to have put infrastructure in place,
Yes.
I don't think he could ever redeem himself from that contract. But now that's my personal view, and I'm really biased on this.
But maybe he was hoping that was his solution to the solution to the national sewerage issue.
Well, whatever his reasons, it was a contract that had, and these are my personal opinions because I'm very close to this and I have real strong personal views, so I'm not even going to pretend to be objective.
Well, I'll hold the objective side for the time being.
I'm not even going to pretend to be objective, But from a nationalist perspective, it to me was a real blow to the seriousness.
Ocean conversion.
Well, a real blow to local people, black people in the Virgin Islands, pooling their resources together for economic growth and development. That is where I see the pain. Not the ocean conversion. Yes, of course, that's the other issue that the people lost their investment.
Right.
But the destruction of the trust that was built among local people to pool their resources for economic advancement, that right there is the serious thing to me.
You're jabbing at me seriously, and I need to bounce around.
Yeah, well, you bring it, like I said,
Yeah,
you see my hands, my hands sticking up.
When you mentioned black people and capital flight going back to the former colonialists and so on, I'm just
saying from a national point of view, where opportunities develop in the BVI should be preserved for the people of the BVI, and that if persons are pooling their resources together for economic advancement, a sane government needs to be supporting those people. And anyone who's acting contrary to that philosophy, to me, is not supporting the people.
But Honorable Fraser is loved in the 3rd district, and he's tipped to win again.
He won by, what is it, 56 votes?
Last election.
Well, Honorable Foy won by, what?
294.
294, and he won by 56. So that tells you a serious
But now
story.
he's chairman of the party, and leaders seldom lose.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happened this time. But we have to look at his resume, and we have to look, as a people, we have to look at his resume. We have to look at his philosophy and his ideologies and his actions, and to see and make a decision as to whether we think that, one, he deserves a second term, another term,
Yes.
and two, whether he deserves to lead the country. Because those are really, the leading the country is really the serious issue. So, we need to take a serious look at his record if he is going to be chosen to lead the country. So,
You've been heard.
I certainly hope so.
Moving forward, for tactical purposes and for objective reasons, the 2nd district, we are not sure what's happening there yet. We suspect that someone may be looking to turn things around, but we haven't heard anything yet officially. We know that the Honorable Christopher has been having a pretty good time in that particular area. He won by 99 votes over his lead contender, Claude Skelton Klein of the NDP, in the last elections.
By how many votes?
423 to 324, so some 99 votes
And
over
again,
his lead contender.
and again, you have another newcomer in that district.
There was also, there was also Leal Rhyme and Alwyn Smith who contested.
And how many votes they got?
And they got 50. Reimer got 53 and Smith 7 votes.
Yeah. So you could see that again, there's a certain amount or a certain level of discontent there, similar to what Mr. Fraser experienced in the 3rd district. So, and I think in the 2nd and the 3rd district are districts that perhaps up for grabs, and with young, energetic newcomers or young people,
Yes.
who have vision and understand what the district needs are, have a rapport with the constituents, and have a good leadership qualities and skills. Anything could happen, I think, in those districts.
Well, let's be fair to our viewers and listeners, because in the 4th district, Honorable Mark Vanderpool, he won by 452 votes over his main contender, because he was 661 versus 209 from Dr. Vincent Scatliff, who we know held that particular district prior to Vanderpool winning.
Yeah.
And of course, and then in the 5th district, Honorable Dolores Christopher, 520 to 478 over Elvis Harrigan. That's a win by a clear 48 votes. But now we are understanding that Zoe Walcott McMillan may be contesting in the 5th district.
Well, I think again, I think the whole election, to just put a broad brush
Yes.
on the whole election this term, is going to be record versus vision. The records of the incumbents.
You really think so?
I believe the record of the incumbents are going to have to demonstrate to the constituency that they deserve another term. And
irrespective of which side they're on.
Irrespective of which side they're on, they're going to have to point out to the constituency, listen, we were in there for 4 years. Here is what we did. This is what we promised. This is what we were able to fulfill, and this is what we plan to do in the future. Give us another term. The newcomers or the new faces, the challengers, I should say.
Challengers, yes.
The challengers going to have to say, these persons' record is not good enough for 4 years. I can do better. Here is what I will do. Here is what you told me the district needs are. This is how I will get the job done. let me take over the helm from here.
That's very important.
Yes.
Explaining how you'll get it done.
How you'll get the job done.
Yes.
Yes. So I think that's the strategies that we are going to see, and it's going to be battle of records versus battle of vision.
Interesting. In the 9th district, though, there will be no incumbent. The veteran, Honorable
Yes.
Ralph T.
Yes.
O'Neill,
And-
he's bowing out, and he says he's not endorsing anymore.
Yeah, and so that the 9th district is up for grabs.
Up for grabs, and
Up
we've
for
had a
grabs.
number of names so far.
Yes,
9
up for
people,
grabs.
and
Yes.
well, at least
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about going up there and run for the 9th district myself.
you have Hubert O'Neill, Faye Reese Charles, Devon Osborne, Rawl Hannibal, and the other names that we haven't heard officially yet. Maybe I have missed one or two who have expressed an interest.
Well, you know, again, the people in 9th district to me are a different type of people. They going to require loyalty.
Yes.
They want people who they can trust.
Someone who understands the
People
needs
who
of the
understand their
community.
needs
Yes.
and who's willing to fight who they believe is going to fight vigorously for their development, because you know they have a sort of a pseudo nationalist philosophy.
It's a very close-knitted society.
Yeah, it's
I know
close.
that very well.
And it's interesting because even though it is a BVI, it's part of the BVI, it's almost like Virgin Gorda and Anegada, or you know, they have this like
sense of autonomy.
yeah,
sense
like
of independence.
it's almost like a secession bent, you know, wanting to be an independent state.
Proud yet we're part of the family, but still feeling independent.
So
I can relate to that.
you know, they don't like that sister island or outer island status.
I don't like it myself.
Yeah, and they feel that
Sister Island should be USVI and Anguilla and St. Vincent.
yeah, so they feel that they, you know, I mean, this is my view, of course,
Yeah.
that they are somehow being left out, and the things that
They're
are
one
happening,
Virgin Islands,
the
one
things that are
territory.
happening on Tortola, those things are not happening on Virgin Gorda and Anegada, and they need to, their needs, they have definite needs being on another island. They got health issue needs.
Yes.
Economic development issue needs, and also when you look at Virgin Gorda and Anegada in particular,
Yes.
That's where the tourist dollar
Thank you
for the
very much.
most part comes through, and it's like taxation without representation.
There
You
you
know,
go.
where they are bringing in most of the money perhaps, and
But they're not seeing
they're seeing
the
the return. So that's going to
And
be
Aubrey Levens on Anegada, just on Saturday, I was there for a cleanup campaign with the BVI Tourist Board, and he has expressed his concerns, and he'll be happy to know that we are in his corner. We are saying Anegada deserves more.
And then I
Wonderful
love,
place
I love
advancement.
Anegada, and I think Anegada could be a real center of development, additional development, particularly in the
Yes.
fishing industry.
Yes, just looking at the Lobster Fest alone tells you the potential.
for the Virgin Island.
For the
Sean,
island. It's been
we're
great.
having a good time. We're having a good time. We gotta
The battle
go.
will continue.
We gotta go. We gotta go. But
All
certainly, it's interesting looking at what's going to happen this year, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with the campaign.
Maybe
especially-
next time I'll
especially
ask
on
you who
television.
you're voting for.
Oh well, I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for, you know. But certainly, I'm going to be voting. That's for sure, without a doubt. I never miss a poll.